08459 455 555 is the telephone number, and I would like your calls on this morning. I'm joined in the studio by Stephen Lennon, who's also known as Tommy Robinson. He's the leader of the English Defence League, which was formed 2 years ago. And also joining me is Zafar Khan, who's the founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and is himself a practising Muslim. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Good morning.
So let me just start with you, Stephen. Why are you demonstrating in Luton tomorrow? What's behind it all?
Why are we demonstrating in Luton? There's a few local issues that we're demonstrating over. Obviously national issues as well. The local issues are, one of them being the multi-faith prayer centre that's about to open in the Arndale, our shopping centre. We believe that houses of prayer and shopping should be kept separate. We do not believe, although they're saying multi-faith, we believe it will be predominantly used by Muslim males. The first thing we done when we heard about this, we approached all the local businesses that are next to this in the shopping centre. Two of them are restaurants. Both said they feel strongly against it. We stood for hours and asked the community what they feel. They felt strongly against it. We then asked the council and we asked the Luton Mall whether they've consulted the community with regards to this prayer centre that they're putting upon in the shopping centre. And they said no, there was no consultation period. They're just doing it. And then another issue is there was land in Hightown, which is the Hightown Drill Hall, which is owned by Luton Borough Council. Many builders were trying to buy it. It was earmarked for affordable housing for the residents of Luton, which Luton needs, very much needs. And it's now been sold by Luton Borough Council to a Shia group within the town for 1.7 million, underpriced. Luton builders, all the builders that were going for it cannot believe it's been bought and it's going to be used as a mosque and an Islamic cultural centre. We don't need that there. The residents don't want it there. The people of the town don't want it there. We want affordable housing in the town centre for our residents. We don't want another super mosque in the town centre. So there's many issues like this locally.
So you're saying this is all about local issues?
It is. It's local issues and national issues.
If it's local issues, then why are there reports that you're inviting groups over from Holland, from France?
We haven't invited anyone. People feel a need to fly from European countries.
So it's only local people that are going to be there?
I didn't say that, did I? If you listen, I said people feel a need to fly from European countries because they have a problem in their country and they see the English Defence League are taking it to the forefront. We are highlighting the Islamification of this country along with Europe, along with local issues. Local people are being ignored, not just here. It's happening across the country. It's happening in European countries. We're being ignored for the appeasement by our councils to Islam.
Yes, but you're talking about local issues. Yeah. I mean, people in Holland, in Germany, they couldn't give a tuppenny toss what's going on in Luton. I'm quite sure. So why are they coming over?
Because they see the English Defence League as bringing us to a forefront. They wish in their countries they had an organisation like the EDL to voice their concerns, to speak about their concerns. So they're forming their own defence leagues in European countries and they're coming to work with us.
All right, Zafar, do you think that the EDL are quite within their rights to protest tomorrow?
Well, this is a free country.
Yeah.
And all of us in Britain have a right to free speech and freedom of assembly. But as citizens, we also have responsibilities. The march tomorrow is born out of ill intention by the organisers.
Which intention would that be?
What do you mean?
And
what do you mean by ill intention?
It's ill. I mean, this is what it means. Ill intention. It is not well-intentioned march.
Why not then?
It is a march to. I listened quietly to you while you were making these accusations and assumptions, and I would expect you to also listen to me.
But it is a fair point, isn't it, just to pick you up on what you mean by ill intentions?
Yeah.
I mean, are you saying that they are racists? Or
what I'm saying is that the march is extremely provocative. It's going to cause a lot of difficulties for residents of Luton. The march is also not going to be conducive towards good community relations. The march is therefore ill-intentioned in all its manifestations. But coming back to your original question, of course, in a free country, you have a freedom of speech and freedom of assembly. But you also have some responsibilities which organizers of the march should be cognizant of, should have some awareness about.
Doesn't Zafar make a good point there, Stephen? You know, Luton is a town that has a huge amount of multiculturalism. We have a lot of people from different communities here in this town. But if you are planning on having this protest tomorrow, do you not accept that you are going to upset a lot of people? You're going to hurt them.
Because we're protesting against anything to do with Islam, it's ill-intentioned. Let's look at what we've done as an organisation. And you've named two protest groups: the English Defence League Unite Against Fascism. Both them groups are working with the police, liaising with the police. The Muslim Defence League are not, who are also protesting on that day. There's no liaison coming from them with the police. They're not giving their intentions to the police. We are. If you look at what we can do as an organisation, we could have demonstrated at 6 o'clock in the evening. We can demonstrate in Kingsway Park, wherever we want. Our intentions are to come as early as possible, as early as is physically possible, when we've got people from travelling from all corners of the country. So our intentions are to come as early as possible.
Yeah.
That we have made sure we do not affect the town centre. We're meeting in Midland Road in Hightown. We've got 200 security stewards working. We are working with the police. We are marching into St George's Square to have speeches, music, and then we're marching out. Where is the ill intention in that? We're not going near any Islamic community, any Islamic shops. There's no ill intention. We are coming to have our voices heard on local and national issues, and if there's an ill intention just because it has anything to do with Islam.
But do you accept that a lot of people will be scared about going into Luton tomorrow?
Yeah, because there's some massive scaremongering going on by our council. There has never been a window smashed by the English Defence League.
So there's no reason for people to be scared?
There's not from the English Defence League, there is not. There has never ever been. Now, if you look at the facts and statistics, there's never been a shop attacked. Why are they telling shops to close? Why are they telling shops to board up? You do not need to board up your shops, not from the English Defence League.
How many people do you expect? How many of your supporters do you expect to turn up tomorrow?
I expect 4,000.
4,000 people?
Yes.
Now, why on earth would people living in Luton, people running businesses in Luton, not, at best, find that intimidating?
Why is it intimidating?
To have 4,000 people descend on your town.
Descend on your town, but look where we're meeting. We come off the train station. We have changed everything. Originally, we were meeting in another estate where people have received death threats. I have brought this with me. This is from Bedfordshire Police, a piece of paper. Information suggests that people within the Islamic community are agitated by the English Defence League demonstration. There is a threat to the life of Stephen Lennon. This threat is likely to be aggravated by Mr. Lennon visiting in Luton. Now, I'm sitting in Luton now, so I'm actually risking my life to talk about what we're talking about. These are what we're putting our necks on the line. I have been advised that it may be appropriate if I leave the area for the foreseeable future. This is a matter for me to decide. My family are under 24-hour police protection. Gurmit Singh had people at his house last night with guns again. He is under 24-hour protection. My cousin was shot at was met outside his house with a shotgun, and we are supposed to believe there is no problem with militant Islam in this town.
But a lot of people will say you're bringing this on yourself.
I'm sorry, but I have not brought people with guns and people's threats against my life on myself by talking about local issues. I have not made terrorists move to this town. I have not made militant Islam in this town. We are just people who are fed up of what's going on, and look what we're living with. Look at this threat. This is in black and white from Bedfordshire Police telling me they want to kill me.
Let's put this out. Let's put this out to the listeners, because at the end of the day, I'm quite sure you would like to hear what people, and indeed you, Zafar, would like to hear what people listening to this programme think. The phone lines are open for you, 08459 455 555. Stephen Lennon is saying that if you live in Luton, there is no reason for you to feel intimidated or scared, because at the end of the day, the way it's all going to be controlled...
The way the English Defence League will be controlled, you should feel scared.
Should be fine.
You should feel scared. Avoid the town centre, because gangs and Muslims are going to be roaming it. But where the English Defence League demonstration is, you have no need.
Listen, don't inflame it. Let's bring Mark into the conversation. Morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Morning. What would you like to say? You're through to myself and Zafar and Stephen.
Good morning to everybody. Morning. Yes, I'm coming down to the march tomorrow. I'm coming down from Telford in Shropshire. I grew up in the Middle East. I first moved to United Arab Emirates in 1978. Moved from Shropshire. My father took a long-term contract in the Middle East. I was 14. I grew up there. Many Arab Muslim friends. I've been travelling back and forwards to the Middle East for 32 years. I've studied Islam. I know the Hadith, the Seerah, the Sunnah. I've studied it continuously. It is a local issue, and one of the problems you've got in Luton, and not only Luton but the whole of Britain. Britain is the biggest importer and exporter of Islamic terrorism, and a lot of it comes from Luton.
So are you saying you're coming to support the EDL?
I'm coming to support EDL in their fight against Sharia law and to stop Islamification of Britain.
But if you're coming down to a town whereby there are a lot of Muslims, do you not accept that you are taking part in a protest that ultimately will upset a lot of people who live here? You don't even live in the area.
Well, I live in an area where it's actually the local headlines of the local paper in the Shropshire Star stated Muslim paedophile rackets. That's not my words. That is the headlines of the Shropshire Star. Muslim, not Asian.
But why are you coming here? Why are you coming here?
Because that is where the march is, and that is where the voice needs to be spoken. We need to air these things. We need to bring this to the forefront, exactly like Tommy Robinson is doing.
But do you ultimately want to upset the Muslim community?
No, we want to I challenge them.
Yes, but is marching through a town like Luton, whereby there are an awful lot of Muslims living here, is that not a very, very provocational thing to do?
I don't think so, no. I think that, marching, protests have gone on in this country for centuries. You see the riots in Egypt. That would, the police in London with 250,000 protesters and the Poltex riots, it would never happen. You would never overthrow a government in Britain the way that they are over there.
Zafar Khan, founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and a practising Muslim yourself here, how do you feel about the fact that Mark is coming down? Do you respect the fact that he wants to come down and protest, or do you feel that that he will be offending you?
Well, he's not a Lutonian. I mean, we have many challenges and many problems in Luton, but Luton, on the whole, is quite at ease with itself. Of course, there are problems, and no one is shying away from those problems. But people coming up to this town by trains or by buses or coaches, that doesn't sound very local issue to me. There are local problems. We should talk to each other about resolving local problems in a sensible and civilized way, not import thousands of people from other parts of the country to create a conflict and problem for businesses, for ordinary people, for families. And you see, I had an engagement on Saturday in London to attend a very important meeting, nothing to do with this sort of thing, but I will not be able to use the trains now, because from about 10 o'clock onwards, the railway station area will be, will be full of people who, God knows what they will get up to.
Is Luton not in England? We are all English, aren't we? And these are our towns across this city. These are our brothers and sisters in all of these towns across our city. And if we want to come and voice our brothers and sisters' concerns, we have a God-given right to do that.
It's not a very local issue then. I mean, you started off with a local issue. This is not a local issue.
No,
you are bringing in thousands of people to create conflict in a community which is trying to come to terms with its problems.
Can I ask you, Zafar, are you anti-Sharia?
What are you talking about?
Can I ask if you're anti-Sharia?
Can
you answer the question? Are you anti-Sharia?
That is not an appropriate question, nor is an appropriate fear.
So
you are just scaremongering.
I'm asking
you are scaring ordinary people of Luton.
Hang on a minute.
Simply scaring people.
Can you answer the question?
There is nothing.
Can you please just answer the question?
Sorry, you are just scaring ordinary people. You are just scaring people.
I'm sorry. I'm going to shut both of your microphones until you stop talking, because I'm sorry. Can we please? Sorry, Zafar, you need to stop talking. This is my programme.
Okay.
I have a question that I'm asking today, and I want you both to address my question.
Gladly established as pro-Sharia law.
Yes, but Stephen, I don't want you to start turning it into your agenda either. Hang on a minute. This programme is all about the people of Luton. This programme.
Sharia law.
No. You may well say it's about you.
That's what we're scared of.
We are having a discussion this morning about Luton, the people of Luton, and how people feel about what is planned for tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't want you to turn this around and make it about you promoting your agenda.
No, it's not promoting our agenda.
It's very frightening.
We are scared of Sharia law in this town. Are you pro-Sharia law?
This is very frightening.
Answer the question.
This is Britain.
I'm sorry. I tell you what. I'm going to stop their microphones because I'm not having this. If you'd like to. It is the JVS show, and it's the phone in, and I'm asking, are you scared about what's planned in Luton tomorrow? I'm joined in the studio by Stephen Lennon, who's also known as Tommy Robinson. He's the leader of the English Defence League, which was formed 2 years ago, and also Zafar Khan, who's the founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and a practising Muslim. And the purpose of this discussion is a lot of people who live in Luton, and indeed the surrounding areas, will no doubt feel extremely concerned about what is planned for tomorrow. Stephen, you acknowledged yourself that you're expecting, 4,000 of your supporters to come to Luton?
I'd say, yeah, 4,000.
4,000. Now, we also understand that that taking part in this demonstration, although on the opposing side,
1,000 out of that probably be female women as well.
Okay, on the opposing side is Unite Against Fascism. I gather they are also expecting a similar number of people.
No, they won't have 4,000.
So, well, okay, well, potentially we're talking thousands of people descending on Luton. It's obviously, from the way this conversation is going, a very, very emotive issue. You are both getting very upset about it.
I'm not getting upset. I haven't got upset once here. All I've done is try and ask a question. I haven't got upset. And it's a question that concerns our community. Sharia law concerns our community. So all I wanted to ask is, are you anti-Sharia? And we've established that he's pro-Sharia.
But that's not the question I'm asking.
But we're talking about the demonstration here. This is one of the reasons why we're demonstrating, because we're concerned of Sharia law.
Stephen, this is not your discussion. This is my discussion. And I'm talking about Luton and the way that people in Luton feel.
Sharia law in Luton.
So I need you to work with me,
that's fine,
because otherwise this is just going to end up the two of you arguing, and the people of Luton will be totally and utterly turned off by it.
Well, I don't think they will. I think they'll be concerned by how this is going.
Let's get on to policing. £800,000 is the cost, so we've been told, from Bedfordshire Police to not only the council taxpayers of Luton, but the council taxpayers of Bedfordshire.
That's okay.
Stephen Lennon, you say that's okay.
Well, no, it's okay considering we give £584,000 to the Islamic community for the Prevent scheme to prevent Islamic extremism, and quite frankly, it's failed. Not one Islamic extremist was reported through the Prevent scheme at all. So and Luton's Central Mosque is under investigation for £140,000 of missing money. And for the first time ever in 15 years, we actually have taxpayers from this town protesting. Taxpayers, not students, not Muslim organisations who want to protest against everything they hate in this country, but taxpayers. So we are entitled. This is the first time taxpayers of this country having their voices heard, and all of a sudden everyone's got a big problem with it.
Stephen, listen to this. This is Chief Superintendent Mike Colborne of Bedfordshire Police. He says that in the future this isn't going to just be an issue for Luton.
We understand that this is a situation which in essence is a national phenomena and a national issue that's being played out on the stage, which is Luton. So it's happening in towns all around the country at the moment, and I think after the event some serious consideration is going to have to be given to, what are, the legitimate costs I think that any community can bear.
Policing your protests could cost the taxpayer a fortune. Why should we have to pay for it?
How much do you think it costs us to monitor terrorists? How much do you think it costs us for the bombings?
That's not the question.
What I'm saying is, why
should somebody living in another part of Bedfordshire have to pay for your protest?
You're right. We shouldn't need to do these protests, but we do, because this is the world we live in. We're living side by side with terrorists, with extremists, with militant Islam, with Sharia law. We shouldn't have to. You're right. I don't want to be doing this. We do not want to be doing this. Why are we having to do this? We're having to do it because politicians, leading police officers and everyone are too scared to talk about these issues. Why are we, working class Joes from towns and cities like Luton, putting our lives on the line to bring these issues to the forefront? And let's face it, the world's media is going to be in Luton. The whole country's talking about militant Islam, about Sharia law. 2 years ago, everyone was even too scared to say a word about it. So that's why we're doing it.
Let's bring Aisha in Bedford into the discussion. Morning, Aisha.
Hi, Jonathan. How are you?
Yes, I'm well, thank you. You're through to myself, to Stephen, and also to Zafar. What would you like to say?
Basically, I just heard what's going on, and Stephen sounds so aggressive. He really does. I have never heard anyone so aggressive in all my life.
I think your listeners will be laughing
at like at a radio station. What's it going to be like?
I haven't even raised my voice once. I think your listeners will be laughing at. The only person who's raised their voice in this studio is Africa.
You sound very aggressive, Stephen. You really, really do.
I think every listener listens to this will be like gobsmacked by what you're even saying.
You're unbelievable. You really are unbelievable.
Oh, right, I sound aggressive.
You're tarring all Muslims with the same brush.
How did I tar all Muslims? Well, can you explain to me? Explain to me what I've said, please.
It's coming across.
No, explain to me what I've said that tars all Muslims with one brush. Go on, explain to me.
I'm not speaking to you.
No, precisely, because you can't.
You're
well
too
done.
aggressive.
Well done. Because I'm the one shouting.
Hang on a minute. You may not be raising your voice, Stephen, but you are jumping straight in.
Can she tell me how I've tarnished all Muslims with a brush? Tell me, please.
Okay.
This is what I'm trying to speak about.
Tell me how I've done it then.
Okay,
you want to get a tape recorder and tape yourself.
Stephen,
because you can't tell me.
Stephen, you've just asked the question. Stop now. You stop talking and let Aisha answer, and then we might have a discussion. What is your answer to his question? Why do you think he's tarring all Muslims with the same brush?
Because the way he's speaking, because the way he's coming across so aggressive. It's obviously he hates all Muslims.
That is a terrible answer because you just couldn't answer it.
Anybody listening to that would think the same thing.
I hate all Muslims. I know there are great Muslims. I know really good Muslims. I do not hate Muslims in any way.
Let me just ask, Stephen, because I went onto YouTube yesterday and I typed in EDL, and there's a lot of footage of some of your previous demonstrations. Why is there footage of certain people at your demonstrations shouting things like "Muslims will burn in hell"?
Well, to be honest, have you got that video here so I can see it?
No, I don't. No. But if you go onto YouTube, it's there.
Oh, under what? What's it under on YouTube?
Oh my God!
If you have a look at the BBC documentary, Young, Angry and British.
Yeah, Young, Angry and British was filmed probably 16 months ago. We were probably 6 months old at that time. We're now an organisation.
So that was an excuse for your members to shout things like "Muslims should burn in hell."
If you listen, we don't have a membership. Purity comes with time. Obviously, we had people trying to affiliate themselves and attach themselves to our organisation, which we have done everything humanly possible to get rid of them, and we are becoming a pure organisation.
But that footage.
You are becoming. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're
excuse me, Aisha. You never answered how I tarnish all Muslims with the same brush because you couldn't answer it, darling.
Okay. Muslims burn in hell. What does that say?
Did I say that? Someone shouted 14 or 15 months ago at one English Defence League demonstration. One person within 4,000 people shouted "Muslim burns in hell."
But
you want to tarnish?
Hang on a minute.
No, hold on. Do I tarnish your whole religion because 4 people blew themselves up? Am I saying that Islam?
But why do you sound so aggressive?
Aisha, you just haven't answered one question.
Can I ask Aisha a question? Are you a Muslim, Aisha?
Yes, she's named.
Are you a Muslim?
I'm a Muslim convert.
You're a Muslim convert.
And that's why you named yourself after Aisha?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, listen, thank you very much. With me is Stephen Lennon, also known as Tommy Robinson, who's the leader of the English Defence League, and Zafar Khan, who's founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and a practising Muslim. The phone lines are going absolutely berserk, and if you'd like to have your say on this, if you live in Luton or around Luton, how do you feel? Are you scared about what's planned for tomorrow? Are you going to stay well away from the town? 08459 455 555. Keep your calls coming in. It's the subject of this morning's JVS show.
Getting beds, hearts and bucks talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio. Good morning. With the headlines, I'm Sam Rigby. The leader of the English Defence League insists Luton residents and shoppers have nothing to fear during tomorrow's protest in the town. Stephen Lennon has told this programme his group has a right to protest. Lennon also revealed he's under 24-hour police protection after threats were made to his life this week. As many as 1,800 police officers will be on the ground tomorrow to keep supporters of the EDL and counter-demonstrators unite against fascism apart from each other. Thousands of protesters are joining people who camped out overnight in Cairo's Tahrir Square for an 11th day of demonstrations against President Hosni Mubarak. The United States is understood to be discussing a range of options with Egyptian officials, including Mr Mubarak being replaced immediately by a transitional government. The woman in charge of scrapping free parking in Milton Keynes is defending the decision. Vanessa McPake, the Lib Dem councillor in charge of transport, says they decided 2 years ago to simplify parking arrangements. She also admits the new charges will generate revenue for the council and says many people are grateful. Demonstrations against a planned incinerator are taking place in Bedfordshire this morning. The Rookery Pit site, which is near to Stewartby, will be visited by the Infrastructure Planning Commission, and protesters plan to show their objections this morning. Sport, and Luton Town host Gloucester tonight in the FA Trophy in a game being played on a Friday night due to tomorrow's protests in Luton Town. Well, the weather for beds, hearts and bucks, a rather cloudy and breezy day, although it should stay mostly dry today. Maximum temperatures will reach very warm 11 Celsius or 52 Fahrenheit. BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news. On FM, AM and online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, good morning. It's the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. This morning on the phone in, I'm asking, are you scared about what's planned in Luton tomorrow? Tomorrow, thousands of protesters are set to gather in Luton. They're from the English Defence League, who say they're demonstrating against militant Islam, and Unite Against Fascism, who are demonstrating against the EDL, who they believe are a racist organisation. This morning, Chief Superintendent Mike Colborne of Bedfordshire Police has confirmed on breakfast that the cost of policing is likely to be in excess of £800,000. Businesses are being urged to take extra precautions. A council leaflet being given to shopkeepers and pub landlords urges them to review their security, CCTV capability and insurance. Well, I'd like to hear from you. Are you scared about what's planned in Luton tomorrow? In the studio with me is Stephen Lennon, who's also known as Tommy Robinson. He's the leader of the English Defence League that formed 2 years ago following disruption to Anglian Regiment March through Luton. That was disrupted by a small group of Muslim men protesting against it, and Zafar, who's the founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and a practising Muslim. Now, Zafar, you believe that Stephen this morning, you believe that he is scaring people?
Of course. The whole premise of this march and the politics and the ideas that are being articulated are very scary. Luton people from all faiths, all communities, all cultures are scared about what's going to happen tomorrow.
Okay, well, if you had dealt with militant Islam within your community, we wouldn't be here, would we? The English Defence League would never have formed. These members, I drove through Bury Park this Friday and I saw the same people who protest against our troops doing their same propaganda.
Yeah, but it was a very small number.
I've seen the
footage. It was a tiny number of people.
The only small numbers I need to know is that 4 killed 52 and injured 700. 19 killed 3,500. They don't need big numbers to be militant, mate.
But listen. If you're tarring the whole of the Muslim community...
Why are you saying I'm tarring the whole of the Muslim community?
I want to come in there.
Aisha, hang on 1 second, please.
Aisha couldn't answer my question.
Aisha said to you earlier that you were being aggressive, and I don't think you can hear. You won't listen to the question, OK? You may not be raising your voice, but you're not listening to the question. The question I'm asking you is, why would you give the impression that there are loads and loads of militant Islam, Muslims, when actually the number that were protesting on that particular day...
No,
you're doing it again!
Okay, no. The number that protested that day...
Hang on, Zafar.
300 were stopped coming into Luton that day. The number that protested that day, in the space where they abused the troops, I accept, was 15 or 20. But when they went down outside Don Miller's, there was 80 to 100. Now, they're militant Muslims, but also, I'm talking of Islamism, and as I'm going to say again, which no one wants to talk about this issue, I'm talking about Sharia law, which I'm scared of.
Right, OK. You say you're not a racist organisation. On Breakfast this morning with Simon and Lorna, they spoke to Martin Smith from Unite Against Fascism. Just have a little listen. Listen to what he claims.
They say they're just against militant Islam, except in the march in Preston, which is on YouTube, you can watch it yourself. They shout, "Burn down the mosque." Now, that's not against any militant action, that's just against the mosque. It'd be like saying burn down a church. When they organise their pickets, they organise pickets in shops that sell halal meat. That's not picking on militant Islam. That's picking on just every Muslim they can get their hands on.
I'll accept, we are against halal meat fundamentally because we have animal rights in this country and halal meat is slaughtered. And what I'm especially against is when we have no choice, just like in Nando's in Luton Town Centre, just like in Subway, just like in KFC, where they're halal only. Give us a choice.
Zafar, would you like to respond to that?
I don't want to respond to such frivolity. What I do want to actually say...
What's frivolity mean?
What I do want to say is that there are about 30,000 Muslims in Luton. And we keep hearing that there is militant Islam and Muslims are militant in Luton.
Now, if there are
Stephen, just shush for a minute.
If there are 1 dozen or 2 dozen or even 100 extremist-minded people amongst the Muslim community, of course we as local residents are worried about that. But the way this EDL is going about stigmatizing and demonizing the whole Muslim community and whole faith of Islam is despicable. This is not how you engage in dialogue. We, over the years, have worked ceaselessly to build bridges in Luton on the platform of the faiths communities. And we have someone like EDL or people similar from even the Muslim community who create problems, and we have to go back to the drawing board. Look, Luton is 200,000 people, and we are trying to become one family living in a community such as Luton. It's a diverse community. It's a community with different cultures, different faiths, and we're trying our very best to come to terms with our reality.
Zafar, let Stephen respond to that.
Okay, if I just explain, even if it is 100, which is not, but even if it was 100 militant Muslims, if you just...
It's about 20, but I said 100 because you talked about 100.
Can I talk, please? And if we reverse the roles, and we make like 170,000 people in Luton Muslim and 30,000 of them white, and in that little white community that is all impacting that one area, we put 100 Nazis on the street 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, promoting hatred against everyone that's non-white, and we let them have stalls in our community week in, week out. We let them hand out leaflets against the local Muslim community, and then sooner or later what you will see coming out of that little compact area is explosions coming out of, let me finish what I'm saying, explosions. Sooner or later that will creep into our community. It will affect the youth, which is doing in your youth, and they will be hostile. And if you look at this week's Luton on Sunday newspaper, there is an RAF war veteran who is walking down the street when 3 cars of Muslims pull up and they beat him with sticks and bats. And if you look at the weeks before that, so let me just finish. If you look at the Luton News the week before that, there's a 15-year-old boy walking along Wardown Park where his head jumped all over by Muslim gangs. Now, these are in our papers. Okay. I haven't read any stories in our local papers the other way around. So what I'm saying,
we have laws in this country. We have the police force.
Sure.
Who have a responsibility to deal with things like that.
Listen, I want to bring...
Not ideal to have thousands of people scaring Luton residents.
This is a phone-in. This is not the Zafar and Stephen show, so let's bring people in who want to respond, but I'm going to need you to both listen to what they have to say and respond accordingly. Aisha is in Luton. Hi, Aisha.
Hi.
Hello, what would you like to say? You're through to myself and Stephen, who's also known as Tommy, and Zafar.
Yeah, what it is what concerns me is EDL say that they're protesting against militant Islam and local issues as well. But militant Islam, like you've mentioned on your show, is a minority group of people. They do not represent the Muslim community as a whole. The Muslim community do reject them.
Yeah.
So when they're going to all these towns and saying that they're against militant Islam, they're just fueling it. They're just fueling it. They're just fueling it. You can't possibly say that all Muslims are literally militant Islam, because that's how it.
I haven't said that once. I haven't said that once.
That's how you. That's if you look at all the stuff on YouTube and in the way that you're targeting.
Aisha, can I ask you why every single week in your community are Saiful Islam and his band of merry men allowed to have stalls and hand out leaflets like they still are now? Yeah. Now let's change it.
Well, actually, community leaders have spoken out.
I know. I'm not saying they. I'm not saying they haven't spoken out. I know they're banned from your mosque. I'm not saying any of that. What I'm saying is, if I went into your community and with 4 or 5 of my friends and I set up a stall and started handing out English Defence League leaflets, what will happen?
Well, obviously there'll be tension.
Yeah, there'll be tension. I'll get battered. So why don't they get battered?
And that's the thing, though. And then there's another concept here as well.
So they don't there's no tension. Okay, Karen. Sorry. There's
tension with Saiful Islam and his merry men.
They're still there.
There is tension.
Hang on 1 second.
There is tension. Those people on occasions have shouted at me because
I know they have.
So this proves the point. This proves the point that you are wrong about the attitude of the vast majority of Muslim community about these 12 people or 20 people.
Deal with them.
Saiful Islam and his...
Yes, but how do you propose that
the same way they deal with me?
How should Zafar deal with them?
No, Zafar, I know that they've attacked your multi-faith march. I know they have. I know they've attacked that Lib Dem councillor who, can I just say,
Hang on,
Aisha. That Muslim Lib Dem councillor, great man, when I hear him talk. He is a great representative, and they're the people you need speaking out. And it's all very well... people like yourself, I don't expect yourself to confront him. I don't expect businessmen...
No, I have confronted those people.
No, I do mean confronted.
I have confronted those people.
What I'm saying is, why?
I have confronted those people.
I keep hearing that the Muslim community will not take the law into their own hands, but they are willing to with...
This is what you have taken law into your hand. I have confronted those people. I have children here. I have a grandson.
Hang on.
What you are doing, I'm scared for my 6-month-old grandson.
Okay, well, you're scared. I'm sorry, but your 6-month-old grandson is not guarded by armed police like my children are, so don't tell me about being scared, Zafar.
You see, hang on a minute. The whole point
of this... You are the leader of a movement which is...
No, sorry. The whole point of this... The whole point of this seems to me that you are offended, Stephen, by the fact that there are a very small number of Muslims in Luton.
And I'm offended by Sharia law.
Hang on. There are a small number of militant Muslims in Luton who are outspoken and are offensive to you and to other Muslims.
They're more than outspoken and offensive. They're terrorists.
Now that's fine.
Maybe
now,
they are.
It's the
police who should deal with that.
Yes.
If there are terrorists, the police should deal with that.
The problem that we have is that if you then bring 4,000 of your supporters to Luton tomorrow, Stephen,
let's hope Saiful Islam's going to get some stick from his community now. Then
is that the purpose then?
No, the purpose
you hope he's going to get
the purpose. The purpose is we are a pressure group. We pressure the government, we pressure the Islamic leaders to deal with these problems.
Okay.
These problems are in their community.
Let me bring Tommy in. Hi, Tommy.
Hello.
Hi, good morning. What would you like to say?
Well, it was as regards to the march in Luton. Now, I live in a little village just outside Ely. Nothing ever happens here. It's very, very boring. And I only hear about Islam and, you know, through the BBC and the papers. And I just wanted to say, because we don't see like a majority of Muslims around here, it doesn't mean it's not happening. So when you do have a march, like the EDL are having a march, I wanted to know, where else should they have had the march? You know, if you're bad at school, you go to see the headmaster. You take the problem head on. You know, if you're at war with a country, you bomb that country. You know.
Yes, but if you know that marching in a certain town is going to be, you know, like putting petrol on a fire, is it still wise to do it?
Well, it gets you hurt, doesn't it? If the EDL had a march in the middle of the countryside in.
Yes, but Tommy, with the greatest of respect, you don't live anywhere near Luton. If somebody lives in Luton, they may not want they may not want their town being in the headlines again because there's been some, you know, dreadful protest that's got out of hand. I mean, let's hope it doesn't.
No, has the EDL got any history of any of their marches getting out of hand as regards to, you know, shops being smashed? Now, you know, that's another thing. If I owned a shop, which I don't, you know, I'm a roofer, but if I did own a shop and someone said, tomorrow I'm going to get 4,000 people to walk past your shop, surely, I know I'm not a businessman, but surely I would want to open my shop.
We've actually had shops contacting us, asking us. The police have advised them to shut. We've actually had them contacting us, asking if they can stay open. We've had cafes, we've had corner shops in Hightown asking us, can they stay open for the trade? We've assured them, which we were also doing in the Farley Hill estate. We went to all the shops. We said we'll put 2 of our own security on your door so you feel safe. We will secure it because no English Defence League have ever attacked a shop. It's laughable. This is scaremongering tactics by the council in order to demonise our organisation and to distort the message that we're coming with.
Let's bring Abdullah in Luton in. Hi, Abdullah.
Hi, how you doing, Jonathan?
Yeah, well, thank you. What would you like to say?
Well, I'd like to say, just on that point, Stevie actually saying that he can grant security to the people, yeah, and that he can give security to the shopkeepers. But if you think about it for a moment, and it's widely available, the YouTube videos that spread all over the internet, his boys up in Leicester, they gathered together. Remember, they had a procession, as they're going to do tomorrow, 2 hours beforehand, going through areas filled with pubs and drunks. Okay?
So there was no procession in Leicester, actually. The Home Secretary banned it.
No, there was.
No, the Home Secretary banned it, mate. There wasn't.
And EDL, they walked into shops, in chicken and chip shops, threatened young men, pushed men about, pulled scarves of women, picked on little children in chicken and chip shops, widely available.
Abdullah, do you live in Luton?
Yes, I live in Luton.
And how do you feel about what's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, I can honestly tell you, being a person on the ground, and I've been around many of the Muslims as well, Muslims are really scared as such, because Muslims and the Asian community as well, they're ready and they're firm, okay?
But I can understand you're scared, I understand, I do understand.
Yeah, but what do you say to Abdullah? Here is Abdullah.
I don't feel good when I hear that. I don't feel good when I think Muslim women or Muslim children, Muslim families are scared. I don't feel good.
Others are scared as well, not just Muslims.
I don't feel good at all.
You're trying to say that there's never been a procession gone out of control. What happened in Bradford?
No, I didn't say there hasn't been a procession out of control, mate. We've been attacked by Muslim gangs at every one of our demonstrations. It will happen again on Saturday, but I feel bad when I hear that. I'm not going to deny that. I don't want to think of Muslims living in fear. But what the Muslim community must realise is, our community, for 15 years, we've lived in fear. We are still living in fear. Is it the White House?
How are you living in fear?
Because the White House is shut because of death threats. The Farley Hill residents at the shops and the pub have had to shut because of death threats. Oh, we're all getting death threats. We are living in fear. Let's not pretend we're not.
What this our and their community? What is this our and their community?
People know you on the street, yeah? People actually
this is being divisive.
Yeah.
Character for who you are. I can understand why you'd be so antagonistic towards the Sharia. You know, just for a moment. I'm not really very learned as such in the Sharia, but for a guy being a drug pusher, being known to be that kind of person...
Okay, so you're letting someone come on the radio and make up rubbish now,
No.
Well done.
Calm down. Don't get too angry. you're known for these kind of things. Many of the junkies on the streets know you and your voice.
All right, Abdullah, I'm going to cut you off.
Is this for real?
Abdullah's called him, but do you want to respond to what he's just said?
I'd love to respond to it. Nice try, Abdullah. If you want to go and get on the radio and try and spread rumours about people, mate, then why don't we talk about the real issues like Sharia?
Okay,
Alison. That is a joke.
Alison has texted in. She says both sides, militants, are as bad as each other. They are never going to compromise. I'm finding it hard to listen to Stephen. He may not be raising his voice, but his manner is aggressive, and he won't listen to others. With leaders like him, organisations do themselves no favours. Do you accept that, although you're not raising your voice, Stephen, you are quite aggressive in terms of the way you butt in all the time?
I do not accept at all that I'm aggressive. I accept that I feel strongly about my opinion, I feel strongly about my organisation's opinion, and I want to voice my community's concerns.
Isn't that part of what all of this is about? There may well be reasonable debates to have here. There may well be reasonable debates about Sharia law.
Yeah, we can't have the debates because everyone just says...
but we can't have the debates if it becomes inflamed and it becomes actually not about having a sensible discussion to try and come to some kind of conclusion. It becomes all about everyone getting angry.
Of course. Well, a sensible discussion, which I tried to have, which I'll try again now. Zafar, are you anti-Sharia?
Oh, listen, I've told you, I don't want to go into that now.
Actually, I want to respond to him.
Okay.
Look, this country has a 1,000-year history. It has well-established laws that are made by a democratic parliament. Also, this country has common law, which has evolved over the past 800 years. Now, Sharia law is never going to become law of Britain. This is an absolutely inappropriate scaremongering approach that EDL and Mr. Robinson is taking.
Look, as I said to you earlier, I don't want this discussion to become about Sharia law. I'm happy to get you both back in on another programme, and we can make the whole hour... Hang on! But make the whole hour about Sharia law. And this morning on the phone-in, I'm asking, are you scared about what's planned in Luton tomorrow? Thousands of protesters are set to gather in Luton. They're from the English Defence League, who say they're demonstrating against militant Islam, and Unite Against Fascism, who are demonstrating against the EDL, who they believe are a racist organisation. In the studio with me this morning, although only up until 10, Stephen Lennon, who's the leader of the English Defence League, and also Zafar Khan, who's founding chair of Luton Council of Faiths and himself a practising Muslim. Your calls continue to come in. Keep them coming in, please. 08459 455 555. Let's bring Paul in. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, hello.
Good morning. You're through to myself, to Stephen and to Zafar. What would you like to say?
Yeah, well, we're working in Luton. We're from Enfield, and we've obviously been discussing this EDL march tomorrow. And we got the paper this morning, the Daily Mail, on page 27. We read an article, and we've all decided to stay and support the EDL.
Why?
Well, a 14-year-old girl was whipped to death in Pakistan by Islamic clerics. She was raped by her cousin. And to me, that is a little bit naughty.
That's Sharia law, that is, mate.
It was Bangladesh, and it wasn't her cousin, it was a married man. I also read this story somewhere, not in Daily Mail, but it wasn't Pakistan, it was Bangladesh.
She was raped. What did she do?
That's Sharia law.
She probably was, which is not right.
That's Sharia law. That's what Sharia law is. That's why we're scared. That's what I'm trying to get.
Sharia law sanctions rape of young girls? Is that what you are saying?
No, what I'm saying is when a girl...
You are just putting out
has to be a
lot of falsehoots.
Are you anti-Sharia, Zafar?
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're pro-Sharia, so you're not going to go against it, are you?
Let's bring Bushra.
What is this bogey? Sharia bogey. This is a...
Let's bring Bushra in Bedford in. Hi, Bushra.
This Sharia bogey.
Hello, good morning. If you can be heard, what would you like to say, Bushra?
I would like to start with Stephen. He thinks that he's a leader. He's trying to lead his league, but I don't think he's got the qualities of a leader.
What do you mean by that?
Leaders supposed to listen as well as they deliver.
Well, has he not listened? Is he not listening to you now?
Sorry, Stephen, but the way I'm listening to him for last about 45, 50 minutes, he's not listening to anybody, whatever they're trying to say. Sorry, Stephen,
it's
you
okay,
need to develop.
Bushra, I don't want to be the leader. I never want to be the leader of this organisation.
Then why are you leading all that
Because I've had no choice. This is the way it's gone. This is it. We started it. I feel strongly about it. I don't want to be in this position, do I?
But you are
our politicians should be doing it.
Portraying yourself as a leader.
Because our politicians are not doing it.
Let me just carry on, okay? You shouldn't be worried about Sharia law, okay? That's not your problem. Okay? There are authorities, government, they can know how to deal with it.
Yeah, well, there's 100 Sharia law courts in this country.
Listen, if they know how to implement or take away VAT or give us job cuts or losses or pay cuts or benefit cuts, they know how to deal with this. When they know the right time, they will deal with it. You and me, we're not here to deal with this, okay?
Okay,
if we try and do it, the game will be out of our hands.
Okay, well in 2003, the European Court of Human Rights completely outlawed the Sharia law after an in-depth investigation due to their views on homosexuals, their views on women, and their views on infidels. That's me. Now, why have we got 100 Sharia law courts in this country?
Okay.
If our government are going to deal with it.
Next one is, you're portraying you're not aggressive, you're not fighting here, but you are. Even people coming from not us Muslims, other people are saying that you are being very aggressive. What are you doing? You're keeping your tone very low, but you're aggravating people.
Okay, Bushra, thank you very much indeed. Let me bring Michael in Aylesbury in. Hi, Michael.
Hello there.
Hi. What would you like to say?
Well, I just wanted to say, actually, that I live in Aylesbury, and the EDL marched in Aylesbury last, September time, I think it was. And we had all this business here with the police and the council saying, oh, board everything up and blah, blah, everybody stay at home. The day came, all the shops boarded up, and there was absolutely no problem whatsoever. No windows got smashed, nothing at all.
Do you think it's fair, though, to compare Aylesbury with Luton?
Oh, well, because
why not?
Well, but the reason I say that, Stephen, there's no need to roll your eyes. The reason I'm saying it is an obvious reason. The fact that there's such a massive Muslim community in Luton, there's not such a big...
No, there is a big... that will surprise you. There is a big Islamic community.
It's not as big as Luton.
No, it's not as big. But so what we're saying is we're boarding the shops up because the Muslims are going to come out and attack us. Is that what we're saying there? Is that what you think?
No. I'm saying that if people are boarding up their shops, perhaps it's because they are concerned that the protest will get out of hand.
The English Defence League protests have never smashed a window. That's what I'm saying. We've never caused effect to business. We've never caused... Not even a pub window has been smashed by the English Defence League. So why the scaremongering by our council?
All right, listen, Michael, we've got to leave it there. I just want to give, because we're going to continue this discussion in the next hour, and the phone lines are still very much open. In 30 seconds, I want to give you both just to have an opportunity to have your final say, because I know it's been a heated discussion. What would you like to say about tomorrow, Stephen?
The English Defence League we will endeavour to do everything we can to keep our protest peaceful as usual. If you're worried about Sharia law, you're worried about militant Islam, you're worried about the effect on our culture and Englishness and Britishness in this country, be in Luton tomorrow. Come and join our protest. Have your voices heard.
Zafar, what would you like to say about tomorrow?
Tomorrow I would say to Lutonians to stay away and ignore EDL. Britain is a great country. It has great traditions. It is, as a society, it is contemporary Britain is at ease with itself. It is a diverse society and a plural society. And outside of Britain, Britain has a very high reputation for its laws and for the way it deals with itself. And I'm proud to be a British person. I'm proud to be a Lutonian. And I just hope that people who have listened to this debate will take note of the scaremongering tactics of the EDL.
Fine. Thank you very much indeed to both of you for coming in. There is Stephen Lennon, who's also known as Tommy Robinson, who's the leader of the English Defence League, and Zafar Khan, who's founding chair of the Luton Council of Faiths and himself a practising Muslim.